Hello, everybody. This is Heather with Ghost Education 101, and I am joined today with Anne and Renata, as well as Cliff, and Philip is also joining me to help with it. But today we are going to be focusing on introducing you to our educators. We're continuing with our roundtable, and today our featured educators are Anne and Renata and Cliff, and then hopefully Linda can join us as soon as she can get onto the computer and get her link to work. So real quick, again, this is Ghost Education 101, and I want to start off with asking all our educators to kind of talk a little bit more about themselves and to explain their background, their experiences, and kind of why they're in the field.
I guess I can go first. Cliff Knight, I'm a lead investigator for the Ghost Stalkers out of Arlington, Texas. My first experience with the paranormal was when I was in high school. I actually had a experience with a spirit in our auditorium. We presumed it was he. It was a construction worker that died at the school while it was being built, and I was the technical director for the school, and I made all my settings ready for a play that night. And when I went 5 minutes later, they were all changed. And but the reason why I got into it this way was about 8-9 years ago. My wife downloaded a little phone app, and we went to a fort in Texas. It's called Fort Phantom Hill. It was an old Army fort back in the late 1800s. And this silly little phone app was giving us actual responses to questions right off the bat. And I said, well, if we can get this on a little phone app, then I should be able to get some more stuff and get some better evidence. And it's just built up from then. We've been to some great places. I've had some fantastic experiences, caught some great evidence, and here I am.
On to us, I assume.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Anne, and I run Oz Paratech, which is Australia's largest online paranormal equipment store. I've also teamed up with Renata to become the Anne and Renata Frightfully Good, I don't know what you'd call us, brand crazies. And between us we run ghost tours, paranormal investigations. We were created the Australian School of Ghost Hunting, which is an entry level for what I'd like to call the normals, who are just starting out and are a little bit overwhelmed with the knowledge you need to get started in the field. What else do we do, Renata?
We now do a podcast called True Hauntings, where we investigate different stories that have been around for a while and sites that people know and maybe some sites that people don't know so well. And we dive deeply into the story behind the hauntings and explore what the hauntings are.
It's a bit like a true crime sort of thing, where we don't just assume it's haunted, we work out why people say it's haunted.
Yeah, we also run ghost tours, so I have Newcastle Ghost Tours here in New South Wales, and we have about 12-13 sites that we work with where we take people out on investigations and give them the opportunity to explore. So we give them the opportunity by setting up experiments, and we talk them through so that they have their own personal experiences along the way. We're here just to help them through and answer any questions that we possibly can. And this is 24/7 for us, so this is our business and our life.
It's our income.
Okay, well, thank you guys for introducing yourselves, and thank you for joining us. And I wanted to let you guys know, feel free to ask any questions you have along the way. We do have a list of standard questions that we're going to ask you if we don't get questions from the audience. But we do have our first question came in, and it is from, waiting for it to pop up. It's from David. He wants to know, do shadow people attack, and how do they appear in your home? Can either of you guys or any of you guys explain that?
Well, first, I responded to him, and we did a presentation on shadow people with, Mike Ricksecker? I can never say it. Who wrote A Walk in the Shadows. So that presentation is available on our YouTube channel. So that's probably answered in that, because I think I even asked it. So be sure to check that one out, David. Go ahead.
I think for us, it depends on what your definition of a shadow person is, because everyone has different opinions on what a shadow person may be. Just because it's dark and there are no features, people tend to assume that it is a negative sort of energy, but maybe it's just something that hasn't had the energy to be able to manifest completely. Your thoughts on that one, Renata?
Yeah, it's really difficult to answer that one. Because there is so much information out there and everyone has an opinion on what a shadow person is, a lot of people learn to accept a particular definition of a shadow person without actually having an experience with one. And so they have kind of formulated an idea about what it is even before they assume that what they are encountering is a shadow person. So for us always, we need more information, and there is no blanket statement that says this is how you treat every entity or everything that comes up that may be quantified as a shadow person for you.
And I personally have never had a dealing with one. I've been in a location, Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, many times, where one of the main things that have happened in that house, especially to the previous owner, was the shadow person who he hung out outside behind the house. There are pictures of him in the front of the house, but I have done everything I can to get him to appear before me, and I've had no luck. So I really can't, I really don't have an opinion on shadow people.
Okay, and our next question is for Cliff from Sharon. How did you know it was a ghost and not a person who interfered with your gear?
I don't know that it was a ghost. I am what you would call a skeptic believer. I believe I lean on the technical side of audio recordings, videos, and until a ghost walks up and taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, I'm a ghost," I don't know what it is. I will debunk faster than anyone else because I want to make sure that what I have is legit. I don't holler ghost until I know for sure that there's no reasonable explanation for whatever it is I got.
That's an interesting question. Has there any ghost ever appeared and said to anyone, "I'm a ghost"? I don't
know.
think so.
Maybe one of our listeners can tell us.
If someone has had that, please let us know.
I've gotten EVPs that says I'm dead.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. I have gotten so many EVPs. I've got a list a mile long of some great Class A EVPs. But what are they? I mean, really, we don't know. And I want to believe that they are the spirit of people who have passed. And that's why I keep going back. I hope to find the real answer one day soon.
Okay. And I don't know if anyone can answer this one. I know I can't. But going back to the shadow people real quick, Sharon wanted to know if they could manifest similar to rainbows.
Well, that wouldn't be a shadow; it would be a rainbow. So I would think not. But in the paranormal world, anything's possible. But from everything that I've read and learned about shadow people, is they appear as shadows and not really a rainbow. So
rainbows are normally refracted light anyway. That's normally there's the source that it comes from.
And shadows are lack of light, absence of light. So,
And I've actually heard people say that they can see shadow people in complete darkness because what they say is it seems to be darker than dark.
yes,
which is an interesting statement too.
Yep. Hi, Linda. Thank you for joining us.
Hi. Thanks. You're welcome.
Everyone's had a chance to introduce themselves and talk about why they got in the paranormal field. Do you want to jump in real quick before we continue, since you just joined us?
Sure. Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Hillard, and I've been in the paranormal field about 15 years. Been with the team that I'm on for 12. I got involved in this because I've always thought there has to be something more. And I've always had questions, and I'm constantly looking for answers. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, so the next question we have is, do you guys feel comfortable sharing your most memorable experience as an investigator?
My most memorable experience would have to be at a local restaurant called the Old Plantation here it's in Medicine Park. The establishment is about 100 years old. It's been used as a brothel, a saloon. It's now a mom and pop restaurant. The owners that ran it, Ruby and Rex Lee, ran it for 35 years. They have both been passed for about 7 years now. And about 7 years ago, we were there shortly after they had passed away. And we were upstairs, and I took a picture of what seemed to me was just my buddy and his wife goofing off. And when I put the picture on the computer, we have a full bodied picture of Ruby Lee. And she's standing right next to one of the investigators. We went back and double checked it with an obituary picture. A couple weeks later, I showed it to a family member who actually dropped my phone and shattered the screen because there was no doubt in her mind that that was her Aunt Ruby.
Wow.
So that would have to be my most memorable, in that we caught a full-bodied apparition.
I saw that photo. You sent it to me. That was it was amazing.
Yeah, it's something.
Mine would have to be again at Haunted Hill House. I was a member of another team at this particular point, and this house had also been used as a brothel at one time, and there was an army camp also that had been there. So me and a fellow investigator were standing at the bottom of the stairs, and we were yelling up at the girls that were upstairs, trying to entice them to come down. We were yelling things that I will not repeat here, trying to get them to want to come down and see us. And I made the comment, I said, "I won't hurt you, I'll be gentle with you." And in between "I won't hurt you" and "I'll be gentle with you," somebody went "shh." And I looked at my fellow investigator and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Was that you?" "No." And about that time, he let out this feeling like that. And he said something went right through him, and all the hair was standing on end on him. And whatever it was, we were standing at the bottom of the stairs looking up. Whatever went through him brushed me on my left arm. I have never felt this before, I've never felt this since, but it only hit me on my left arm. I got the tingles, I got cold, my hair was standing on end, and it was his whole body. So something went through him, and that's the first time I've ever sensed anything. I don't feel anything in rooms ever or locations. I don't sense anything. But this was incredible to have this, whatever this was, just go right through me, just on my left side only.
Yeah, it's an awesome experience when you get something physical like that happening.
That happened when we recorded yesterday, Monday.
Yes. Yeah. We do a lot of different styles of investigation. We do a lot of work with the Estes experiment, where we use an SB11 with the headphones, and so we have people who are sitting on headphones listening to the chatter that's coming through the SB11, and we have people outside asking the questions, so that the people on the headphones aren't actually hearing questions, they're just responding to whatever they're hearing coming through the headphones. And for us, it's always really interesting if we are asking questions and then we're receiving a mashup of answers by those that are on the headphones. And we often have multiple people on the headphones, so we might have 3 or 4 people on headphones at once. And there is often a channel, there is often someone who's sitting there who seems to be truly tapped in to whatever the spirit or entity is saying. And it's like having a direct conversation with them. It's amazing, and we've had some amazing experiences.
Yeah, the most
like that.
amazing one was at a place called Norfolk Island, which is a small island off the coast of Queensland. And we had people on the headphones calling out what they were hearing. Renata was against this wall of photos of veterans who had served in various wars, and she was asking questions of where are you on the wall? And the people on the headphones going left, stop, up. And Renata's pointing to it and going, is this the one? And they're going, yes. So once again, they've got their backs to us. They can't hear us. She said, well, what are you on? And I went, horse. Sure enough, the photo was of a soldier on a horse. And they described ribbons. It was the most astounding conversation we've ever had.
Yeah, this went on for about an hour and a half. And the whole time there were probably about 6 or 7 people on headphones at another place in the site that we were investigating with their...
About 30 feet away.
Yeah, with their backs to this particular wall of photographs. And I was just wandering around saying, tell me where you are, tell me where you are. Tell me if I'm getting closer or if you want to speak. And we were getting names and so many astounding pieces of information that it was incredible. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. And what tip can you offer a new investigator in the field, someone who's just starting out?
Where do you start?
Yeah, really.
That's a big topic.
Okay, since I'm the technical guy, don't use your cell phone to take pictures. Cell phones are not cameras. All they do is take a still image of what you're pointing at. You've got to have a real camera with a real shutter that you can change the settings on, because on a cell phone, it may appear that you've taken a photograph just like that, but you will still have enough movement that picture will become out of focus. And when pictures or when objects in the picture are blurred just enough, they create images that are not there. Do not use your cell phones in investigations. They are worthless.
For me, my tip would be, before buying equipment, research what it does, how it works, and any false readings it can possibly give you. Many people, because I run Oz Paratech, the ghost hunting store, I have people who seem to think that what we sell is ghost communication, and it's actually experimental communication because we don't have the answer. So then they come back at me and go, well, it just scans through the radio waves. Well, yes. Did you research what this was about before you bought it? So please, go out old school first, pen, paper, write down what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what your names you're picking up on, and look at the history of the location before you go into technology, and then you've got to understand your technology.
For me, it would be learn to have patience. Don't expect things to happen. Don't think you're so special that just because you turn up somewhere, you're going to have amazing things happen just because you're there and you want it. It may be the case, and that's amazing. But in many cases, it's long hours of just honing your skills, and that may be skills in using devices, but it also may be skills in operating from a psychic or more connected level. And so you have to tune in all your senses, and that takes time for people who never have done that before. So read some good books, get some really good information, and go out there and practice, and practice.
Because you're not going to get something every single time you go out.
No.
There are some nights we have gone to places that
it's a very
people,
boring job.
Yes, it is. It's lots of hours of sitting here talking to nobody.
Yeah.
If I could add one thing.
My
also,
tip would have to be, especially...
Oh, go ahead, Linda. Mhm.
Well, my tip would also be, especially for the novices, don't go anywhere alone. A lot of these places that we go to are not in the best state. If something happens and you get hurt, you've got somebody there. Also, if you do experience something, you have somebody else to validate it, to run some, bounce it off that person. Did you see what I see? Those kinds of things. But I would advise you, especially starting out, not to go in pairs. Don't go by yourself.
I would like to just add, when you are thinking about becoming a ghost hunter, decide what kind of investigating you want to do. Do you want to be a thrill seeker, and do you want to just go to paid haunted places and have fun, or are you interested in solving mysteries and helping people who are having issues in their home, which is a completely different ball game
Yes.
than going to a haunted hospital or something? Do you want to be a scientific investigator? Do you want to use scientific protocol? Do you want to just get a K2 meter and go in and go, oh my God, I'm scared? Figure out what it is you want to do, because you can go in different directions and you'll need to know a few different things like residential investigating. There are a lot of legal issues that you have to be aware of. So just try to decide early on what it is exactly you want to do when you become an investigator.
And if I can add one more thing,
Me too.
do not trespass on private property.
Oh, yes.
If you do not have
Absolutely.
permission to be somewhere, do not go there and then claim, well, I'm a paranormal investigator, I can come in here. No,
And
you
put
cannot.
it on social media.
Yeah, and then there was a young lady, I believe she was at Texas Tech University, was doing a photo project, and she broke into the Baker Hotel and took a lot of photos at the Baker in Mineral Wells, and then she posted them online, and Mineral Wells Police Department found her and came and got her. So do not trespass.
Right.
And
And
my
I would
other
also
little-
suggest, oh, go ahead.
Mine was just be aware of your bias. Just be aware of what your beliefs are, and if you've taken on other people's beliefs, because they will influence the way you experience whatever it is you're going out to see.
Right. And I would also suggest, in addition to researching the equipment you purchase, is do as much research in this field as you can. You want to learn everything you can, all the different theories, all the different methods, all the different types of hauntings, research. Ask to look at other people's cases, and research the different cases that have happened and the different techniques that were used. The more you know, the better equipped you are to go into the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's what we're finding.
education has
sorry.
That's what we're finding with True Hauntings, is that the way we're looking into it and how it was investigated and the results they came up with, and we're learning so much from the way other people have investigated and brought forward their findings.
Okay, and then I guess piggybacking off of that is, are there any books that you recommend people read, or any resources they go to learn more about the paranormal?
And the one underneath that.
Oh, I've got that one.
That's a good
Yeah,
introductory
Lloyd's always great. Lloyd Auerbach.
one. The blue one there. Not that we were ready, we've just been researching. That one, the Guide Note for Investigators on Spontaneous Cases by Stephen T. Parsons.
Yeah, this one's good. Strange Frequencies as well.
Good introductory book.
Good introductory book.
There's books
what
everywhere.
else can we?
We're addicted to books.
Yeah. Amy Brody's
I'm
new
really
book's
enjoying
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
Plug. Amy's is good. 13 Truths I've Learned About Ghosts. Really nice and balanced, and not fluffy. Don't recommend the fluffy books. I think, if you want to be a true investigator, you've really got to get down to the nitty gritty of it. And get through some stuff that you might not like to hear or you might not like to read, but that opens your eyes to the importance of doing it properly.
Well, my team does a lot of residential. We do like to go to the paid places and have fun, but that's just a team fun thing. We do a lot of residential, and this particular book has been my Bible. It's written by Martha Hazard-Decker, and it's paranormal profiling, and it really, really teaches you from a law enforcement point of view how to interview clients and how to get the information you're looking for. There's a lot of really good techniques in here. So if you're leaning towards the residential, that's definitely one that I would suggest.
Yeah, there's a real technique with interviewing and asking the right questions, and also being able to sense what is going on with the people that you are interviewing. So it's not just about the questions that you are asking. It is about what you are sensing that is going on beyond the questions, because people will not always tell you the truth. They will tell you what they want you to hear. And so you have to be
confirmation bias.
Yeah, you have to be very, very cluey in your own safety and finding and feeling that you are safe within that particular environment, knowing when to stop, when you've pushed some buttons, when things might not be going so well for you as an investigator in somebody else's home. So knowing your boundaries and also having the appropriate permissions to do so. You are a stranger going into somebody else's home. If you don't know the first aid, I guess, techniques for mental health issues,
first aid, yeah.
Then it is something that every residential investigator should look at doing, to just know the basics of the human
in Australia, we have a course called the Mental Health First Aid Certificate. And we did that course and it was amazing. But Renata is actually a trained counsellor. She has qualifications in that area. And a lot of the time we're dealing with grief.
Yeah.
I forget what the question was.
Okay, and we had another question from the audience. It is, here it is. Oop, it disappeared. Okay, Joshua says he's looking for equipment and wants any ideas where he can find it.
For as little as possible. Okay.
You don't want that equipment, Joshua. You don't want it.
Ghost 101 on a budget.
Yeah. Well, look, for starters, if you're after the gadgets you see on TV, you might find some on the buy, swap and sell sites. The only problem being is that you don't know whether you're actually buying original equipment or knockoffs, and some of the knockoff equipment is not calibrated, so you're not getting the correct information you're wanting to get from the technology. I'm a bit of a belief that you get what you pay for, so I'd rather save up and buy something that I'd really researched and understood and was ready to work with, than just haphazardly buying as many cheap gadgets as I could. But I mean, we work with like cat balls. You don't need to expend a lot of money. They're little motion sensor cat balls, glow in the dark ping pong balls, and just a recorder.
A voice recorder is one of the most important pieces of equipment you can have.
Make a noise for me. That doesn't cost money.
Yeah, and a voice recorder that isn't attached to your mobile phone, but a proper voice recorder.
Without automatic gain.
Yeah.
And you can also watch our presentation that Miss Heather did on non-tech paranormal investigating tools.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that.
Jingle bells are amazing.
Jingle bells, styrofoam cups, all kinds of things.
But
I also discovered from someone who attended an event we did, she suggested using a fidget spinner, and it works.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So that's getting added to my presentation when I revise it.
But Joshua, there's also several paranormal equipment for sale pages on Facebook where people may have something that they want to sell that they don't use anymore. You know, so check those out. I can't think of the names specifically, but those are all people in our community that are just selling things that they just, you know, maybe have upgraded something and don't need this piece anymore. So check those out.
Yeah, ours is the Australian Buy, Swap and Sell Paranormal Equipment, I think it is.
So I think we're caught up on questions. And the next question is, who in the field do you admire, or who has been a mentor to you?
Someone else can take that first.
I need to think about that one.
My mentor was a local guy that I knew for several years, Will Light of Light Paranormal. He had been doing this for over 30 years, and I learned a lot from him. I got to investigate with him several times. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. As far as people that everybody knows, yeah, I really don't have a favorite person. I like to watch everybody, and
Yeah.
everybody has their own styles. I mean, you had the Kling brothers who were very answer me, damn it type of thing, and others who are very kind all the time. So I like to take a little from all of them and learn from those. But as far as just having that one person who I admired the most, it just had to be Will Light.
Yeah, we don't actually have many people here in Australia who are leaders in the field. It's very difficult. One person who I do admire is Beth Darlington and the work that she tried to push forward in Australia. But my go-to person would be Lloyd Auerbach. I love his work. And I've really enjoyed the style that Amy Bruni has taken in Kindred Spirits with Adam, in that they're there to help the spirits as well as the people, but if they can solve the spirit's problem, they can help solve the person's problem. So I'm enjoying that approach rather than all the demonic and all that sort of stuff that's been brought to the field with the popular TV shows. But for me, like you, Cliff, I'm taking little bits and pieces from everyone, and sometimes even the really bad ones I've learnt something from.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. My mentor was a Native American woman that I met at a Paracon. I was not on a team or involved in the paranormal at all. And after speaking to this woman, she invited me to go on a ghost hunt with her and her team just to see if it was something that was for me. I ended up being in a 10-year partnership with her, and she taught me everything that I know as far as the basics when it comes to investigating. And her name is Anita Carpenter. In the field, I'm going to go old school. I have read a lot of Edgar Cayce, and I'm a big Hans Holzer fan. The characters that are on TV now, I see them more for entertainment as opposed to scientific. So that's kind of where I am on that.
Can't hear you, Heather.
I read her lips. She said she was sorry.
Sorry. I put myself on mute because I was angry typing. No, just. But
Are we there already? Are we?
No, we're not. Is Sharon asked a question earlier that I was just making sure I was reading it correctly before I brought it up. But she had talked about how her sister had died yesterday, and she went to go write a letter. And it almost seemed as if her sister was inside of her writing the letter because the words that came out weren't her words. And she just kind of wants to know if that's plausible or,
Absolutely.
Well, automatic writing. I mean, if go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, when you are in grief, you are working in such a heightened emotional state, and often a heightened emotional state is what can tap you into your loved one who has passed over. And of course, it's highly credible that her lovely sister was using her as that channel and writing that letter. Absolutely.
Okay, and then our next question came up is, do you all see a spirit without the use of equipment?
Oh, of course you can.
Mm-hmm.
I have, not often. I'm not that way inclined to be able to see things as often as what a medium or a psychic might, but I've had experience where I've seen somebody walk ahead of me in the dark at Maitland Jail, and I was about to yell at them for not having a torch and for leaving the tour, and then they disappeared, and I went, okay, so that was a ghost. And they were as solid as you're me.
And sometimes the spirits may appear as just a little bit of movement out of the corner of your eye. They're not going to sit there and appear right in front of you. You'll hear the noise and you'll turn and they'll be there for just a split second and then you'll lose them. So yeah, it is very possible to see without equipment.
Oh, so many places, Mel. So many places.
I can't even begin to list.
Ah, Renata has never been to America, and we were meant to go to America twice in 2020, and we're going to New Orleans to discover all of the locations there. And also, we were going to the Women's Paranormal Conference in West Virginia, which we were speaking at. So we were going to go to Salem and Lizzie Borden's house and to so many places. We had the Conjuring house booked for a private investigation, and it all went to poo. I'm behaving and not swearing.
My list is long, but the number one place I finally got to investigate a couple years ago, and that was the Birdcage Theater in Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, we've just done a podcast on the Birdcage Theater. It's so amazing.
I am a avid Western history buff, so that's what attracted me to it. And we did a lot of investigating up and down Allen Street, and so I was in heaven, getting to have a private investigation all night at the Birdcage Theater.
Oh, how amazing! That's on my list now too. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. I've been there too. It's fantastic.
Well, I hope you get to make it someday.
So do we.
In the United States, it would have to be Waverly Hills. That's one place I have not gotten to that I would like to go to. And anywhere in the world, it would have to be Leap Castle in Ireland.
Oh, we've been there.
Love to go there. Oh.
And
my
another
family
place
is from Ireland. My parents were born and raised there.
Oh,
so
it's so beautiful.
Home to me.
It's so beautiful.
One place I want. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I was just going to add, you could live off the bread, the soda bread, and
butter.
True butter.
And the butter.
I have been to Gettysburg before, but just during the day. I haven't had the opportunity to investigate at Gettysburg, and that's another place that I really want to get to. Basically, because of the history that's there. I like to follow major historical events like that and see what I can come up with. So that's still up there on the top.
And actually, since we have two investigators from Australia, I have a question that I've just been dying to get an answer to. I've always dreamed of going to the Sydney Opera House. Mm-hmm. Is that haunted?
Well, I've never investigated there. Okay. But the land that it is on is Indigenous Aboriginal land. So I would say there would be lingering souls there, and maybe a few frustrated opera singers.
Plus, it's also very close to an area that's known as the Rocks, which is where the first white settlement occurred on the mainland of Australia. And that has rather a dark history. And there are a lot of interesting spirits and things going on there.
Okay, so that's on my list to get to.
We'll take you. We're only 2 hours away from the Opera House, so
I've been wanting to go there since high school.
Yeah, it's an amazing place, and the kerfuffle that went on when that whole thing was being built, and they said this is ridiculous and it will never go anywhere, and how dare they make something that looks like that. Oh, it's outrageous, and look at it now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, our next question is from Debbie. She asked, do you believe there is a difference as a ghost is a stranger and a spirit is a family member?
It's all definition.
Yeah.
What's your definition? Everybody has different definitions on the same words.
Yeah,
energy
it's
is
still
energy.
all energy. You know, it's how we label things. We love to label things, and sometimes those labels aren't appropriate. And mix and match.
Oh, plus there's also the different types of hauntings. You've got the residual, and then you've got the intelligent. And we believe that, or at least I believe, my mother-in-law is here in our house. My wife was making dressing Thanksgiving a year ago, and she had some bread out on the counter, and she goes, "I really wish I could remember how much bread Mom put in her dressing." Well, about that time, 2 slices of bread were thrown off the counter. And my wife said, "Okay, I guess that's how much we're supposed to use." So she's still helpful around the house, where other spirits, strangers, are not that helpful. So.
Okay. Our next question is from Lynn. How do you handle people that say orbs are dust bits when you do filming and they actually appear?
I am one of those people.
I am too.
I was a freelance photographer for many years, right out of college. If you are videotaping, you have to watch how these orbs are moving. If they are free floating, it is dust. If they move with a purpose, then you can surmise that maybe there is something attached to it. But in still photographs, if you take a picture and you've got orbs, 1,000 orbs all over the place, it's dust. It is dust particles that is reflecting the light from your flash back into the camera, because the camera can see 10 times better than your eyes ever will. So, yeah, I'm one of those folks.
Yeah, and for me, it's if there is a light source
And I agree,
present.
Cliff.
Yeah, if there's a light source present, even if it's IR light, you can still get that light, the bounce of light off the dust particles, insects, water, dandruff, whatever it is, that can create that halo effect. So the best way to do is to get that light source as far away from your camera lens as possible, and ask it to do something specific. If it does what you are asking it to do, then that becomes really interesting. But so many people don't want to hear logical explanations, and generally what we do is somebody shows us a photo with an orb in it, we give them an alternate explanation, and if they don't want to hear it, we'll just go, well, that's really interesting, and we leave it at that.
People always argue that, well, this orb is so big and this one is so small. I said, yeah, the small one's about 1,000 feet away from you, and the big one just happened to be right in front of the camera. I have a dear friend of mine who is lead investigator for another team down here in Moody, Texas. We met because someone suggested to her to send me all of her pictures that she's taken. And 99% of the pictures that she took, I ripped them to shreds.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I never want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm going to be honest and truthful with you. If I see something wrong with the photograph and it's got these orbs or what in it, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yep.
And so, but now we are the best of friends because we've gone on several investigations together. She even went with me to the birdcage. So, but you got to make sure that what you see in your picture is really sustainable, or I'm gonna tell you no.
And if you think about what we call an orb is, it's energy. It should be emitting a light. You should be able to see it with your own eyes, not just showing up in your camera. Because if it's spirit energy like we think it is, it should be casting a light, emitting a light, glowing in some way. And those are very rare. And the ones I have seen with my own eyes, which is one reason I got into the paranormal, because I saw these, they're very quick. They're very fast moving, like shooting stars. You almost like, what was that? They're very rare, in my opinion, a true spirit energy orb. It's not the ghost. A lot of people think that's the ghost, but it's an energy. So a lot of these are, it's pretty rare to capture one. I've got one that was caught on DVR camera at a client's house, and you can see the light that it's casting onto the wall as it moves.
That's an orb.
Wow.
And meets my criteria. And then there's another one that I've seen where it's going across the bed, and you can see the light on the bed as it moves. Those are what I say without a doubt are orbs. That's my opinion. But if it comforts somebody, honey, it's an orb.
Yeah, that's right. If they're bringing them comfort at their dead auntie that they didn't get to finish their business with, and that's where we go, well, it could be this, but yeah, it could be your dead auntie.
And a lot of the ones on security cameras are a spider web, one little that we could not even see with our own eyes. It will dance in front of a lens, and somebody will think there is something walking on the driveway. There are a lot of things that it can be, and you have to use a lot of critical thinking before you jump to conclusions.
And another thing to look for is know what a flight pattern of an insect looks like, because a lot of times they will say, you know, look at how it's moving. If you study the flight patterns, flies, butterflies, moths, whatever, you can pick the difference out. You know, you can know one that's moving with a purpose as opposed to an insect that may be in front of the lens.
The one thing, I don't know if these kind of go along with the orb category, but string anomalies. I have captured several string anomalies that had definite movement. Could not see them with my own eye, but we saw them on the camera, and we were at a little chapel at a cemetery one time, and this thing appeared right in the middle of the room, kind of moved down to where one of the investigators was laying on a pew, and it went right to his foot and kind of hung around there for a second and then zipped around to the other side like it was checking him out. Was it a spirit? I don't know, but this thing had definite movement, and it really led me to believe that there was something to this one. And I've got several others like that too.
Okay.
In
go
all
ahead,
my
Linda.
years, I would only say that I've captured one that I would say was an actual orb. You know, the rest can be easily explained away with dust, insects, whatever.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
We try desperately not to look at photos because we tend to upset people all the time, and they get completely outraged. And you go, well, you sent this to me for me to look at and to give you my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion, and then you don't like it, so you absolutely.
I had one yesterday that I got tagged in, which was a rainbow. And it was the mother putting her baby to bed, and there's this rainbow light down the centre of her. And she said it happens at the last 4 nights in a row at the same time when she's putting her boy to bed. And you can see the sun shining through the window. And I'm going, guys, if it's happening at the same time, then it's likely that it's some sort of refracted light. Well, they didn't like that. That wasn't fitting to what they wanted to believe in, but you can only do so much.
Yeah, somebody sent me a picture that they had made with their cell phone, and you could tell that the cell phone moved at least half an inch when they took the picture, because everything was, instead of being single like this, it was doubled like that.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, don't you see the guy standing in the corner? No, that's your thumb. And they just would not understand that because this picture was so blurry and so out of focus, you can't take whatever you're seeing in this photo for granted and claim it's a spirit, because it's a horrible shot.
Or just tell them it's a demon and they should never go back.
Burn the house, shrew! Burn the house, shrew!
Well, to keep people happy with me, I may have to start doing that.
Sell the house. I would sell it cheaply and give me the address.
Okay, so I want you guys to take a moment to share the biggest lesson you have learned as a paranormal investigator.
Don't enter paranormal awards.
You don't enter the paranormal awards.
Well,
I promise we won't go to talk about it. There you go.
Plug. Mine happened right after I got started in this. There's a little ghost town between Weatherford and Springtown called Carter, Texas. The only thing that's left is a one-room church, school, and a little tabernacle on the outside. I had a real camera, and I was going around taking pictures. I had been taking pictures all morning, basically just getting the layout of the place. And when I got the pictures home and started looking at them, there was one particular shot. I was looking back into the one-room school and vertical window, and there it was right in front of me, ectoplasm. There was a spirit coming out of the window. And I put that on Facebook and I said, I got me a ghost. This is ghost, 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 ghost. Then I got to thinking about it. So I went back out the next week, took all the exact same pictures. When I took the picture of the one looking back into the window at about the same time during the day, it was still there. Come to find out, there was a smudge on my lens that only appeared when the sunlight hit it at a certain direction. So now I had to go back on Facebook and go, no. So don't holler ghost. Don't do it.
I just debunked myself from looking at a second camera angle. I just knew I'd gotten the creepiest EVP, and then I was watching my second camera, and I thought, that's me blowing into my EDI trying to get the barometric pressure thing to work.
I think the biggest thing I've learned is that it's okay to leave a team and move on when you're ready. That you don't need to keep staying there and trying to make your beliefs fit their beliefs. If you are researching and studying and want to move beyond there, you've outgrown your team, and it's okay. It's okay to leave a team and go somewhere else.
Yes, it is.
Well, mine would have to be that the biggest lesson I learned is you can't help everybody. As being mostly residential, we ran into a client that we spent months and months trying to help. And she just jumped from team to team till she found somebody that was going to give her the answers that she wanted to hear. We had somebody go in and cleanse the place. She brought what was ever there back. Number one, she didn't want to let it go. And number two, we're honest. We put it on the table, and that's not what she wanted to hear. So my biggest lesson was learn when to walk away, and it's okay to walk away. You don't have to be the person to save the world. Some can't be saved.
Her ghost made her special, and she wasn't going to let that go.
Yeah.
She probably created it herself.
Another thing I just like, because this is something that happened to me, do not ever underestimate a location and the potential for something to happen. Any place can be haunted. Let me just say that. Something happened at a school that I was not expecting. So just always be prepared. Don't ever be too comfortable and think, nothing's going to happen here, because that's when they can get you.
And not everything happens only at night.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
To
go along with what Philip said. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Linda. Finish. Yeah, you finish, Linda.
To go along with what Philip said, I had gotten a call from somebody last year, and I remember saying to the team, this is not going to be any big deal. It's some sweet little old lady. We're going to go debunk everything and, give us some peace and we'll be out of there. And what we ended up with was 5 seasoned investigators sitting at IHOP shaking so badly that we were spilling our coffee. That ended up being a hellacious investigation. We had to bring in an Islamic priest. It was nothing that we could deal with being as Christian, because, our point of view was not going to josh with the clients. He happened to be from Egypt, and it turned out to be a really, really nasty entity in that home. So now my team, whenever I say, this is a little one, they say, no, it's not. Because we thought that was going to be a one-night thing. We did get it resolved. They're living peacefully now, but we were attacked physically, and it was something. But, little tiny house in nowhere, Oklahoma, we didn't expect much of anything, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, I think exactly the same as all of you have said. We can sometimes encounter something that it's not our thing to work through, especially with indigenous spirits and spirits that belong to particular religious beliefs or households. It's not appropriate for us to go and really do anything other than tell the client that we shouldn't be investigating this or try to help you because it's not our domain. And we
put them in contact with someone who
yeah,
can
we
help
put
them.
them in contact with someone who can. We've heard a lot of stories of people going in and leaving clients at a loose end where they have actually helped stir up stuff and then walked out and gone, well, we can't handle this, and see you later.
Or they've gone in and declared, this is demonic, you have a demon in your house, and then left the family.
Yeah.
It was exciting for them to go in and watch the TV shows, and of course it has to be demonic, and there was a case a couple of years ago that a team did exactly that, and the person in the house committed suicide. So there's a responsibility there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never leave them hanging. Give them guidance in some way, shape, fashion, or form.
Yeah.
Or don't do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't even start.
And to piggyback off of some of those suggestions and lessons, what is the scariest experience you've ever had as an investigator?
Let me think.
Yeah, I can't say that I haven't had anything that I haven't been able
I've had
to
more amusing ones than
handle.
I've been scared. I mean, early on when I first started, I was scared, but that was my own imagination and listening to stories and creating the monster myself than it was an actual entity. I did get a little bit nervous when I was on the landing at the Pontefract Black Monk House, and they had me blindfolded upstairs by myself, and I decided I was going to, because nothing was happening, absolutely nothing, so I thought, well, I'm going to try and stir it up a bit, and started saying, I know what you did to those girls, you low-life piece of scum. And then after a bit of provoking, I actually sort of felt this presence start to get angry with me, because I think I was speaking shit, to tell you the truth. It was absolute crap. And I bailed out and went, no, that's enough. I don't want to do this. This is not me. I don't normally do that sort of thing. So, that's probably the most uncomfortable I have felt.
I don't know if I've ever
the
gotten...
scariest one...
Okay. Go ahead.
The scariest one for me happened... we did an investigation that required clergy to come in. And there was only 4 of us in the house with the clients at the time. 3 days after the investigation, and the priest felt the need to do a minor rite of exorcism. 3 days after that, the priest was hospitalized for an undisclosed illness. The hospital could not distinguish what was wrong with him. It was intestinal in nature. 4 days after, the other female that was in the house suffered a heart attack. On the 6th day, I suffered a stroke. I had a stroke. And the doctors could find no reason why I was not disposed in any way for a stroke. My blood pressure was fine. My cardio was fine. There was nothing that would have indicated that I would have had a stroke. Could it have been coincidence? Maybe. But that scared the heck out of me to think that the people in that house in the space of a week all were physically affected in some major way. And my family wanted me to stop. And my take on that is, if that was nasty and it caused that, if I stop, they win. So, no, I'm not going to stop. And it has not deterred me, but it did give me an understanding of what they can do if they need to do it.
I don't know if I've ever really been scared in an investigation. I don't like being startled. I don't go into the fake haunted houses at Halloween. because I don't like people coming up behind me and, just jumping out. I don't like jump scares at all. But probably the most nervous I've ever been was at an abandoned nursing home. It had been empty for, I think, 7 years, and nobody had ever investigated this place. So we were the first to go in. And while we were standing in one of the main shower rooms, the shower knobs started to turn, and you could hear the squeaking of the shower knobs. I backed out immediately because this was the first time I'd ever experienced something like that. And some guy ridiculed me. He said, "Why didn't you go on into the shower and see it?" And I said, "Because I didn't want to see what was on the other side of that shower." But I've never been scared. I've never been scared out of a place. When the thing went through us back at Haunted Hill House, we did leave the building, but we came right back in about 10 minutes later to face it again, and something else happened. But it was just freaky. I wasn't scared. It just freaked me out because I've never experienced something like that before.
Okay, and this was a comment based on us talking about our lessons we've learned, and I just thought it was interesting that Robert says that people can act like Faraday cages, and when they show up to a location, the activity stops.
Yeah.
Anne and Renata, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that because we do investigations at a local jail, and we've been running those tours for about 5 years. It's a great opportunity to keep going back to the same place, and no 2 nights are the same. And depending on the group that we're working with, it's either awesome and people are getting great connections and we're getting somewhere, or there can be nights when there is absolutely nothing that happens.
We find if there are cynics on the tour, not skeptics, cynics, it tends to block activity. They're just so determined that nothing's going to happen that I think the spirit world probably goes, okay, well, no, I'm not going to do anything with you guys. You're not interested, so nothing happens. But then there's the other extreme with the people who go, the spirits always come out when I'm around. I'm a spirit magnet. They're just as terrifying as the ones, sort of the cynics to me.
That's when the spirit's sitting over in the corner going, "Not tonight."
Hell yeah.
Well, there are times when I feel like I'm that person. About a month ago, we got to go to the Old Park Hotel, and of course, massive amounts of things have happened in that house. A lot of the famous people have been to that house. I go into that house and have absolutely nothing. The only type of incident we had in that house was, or in that hotel rather, was the K2 meter started going crazy about 3:30 in the morning in the upstairs area, just along this one wall. And when you held it up next to the wall, you could actually feel a magnetic pull into the wall. Was that paranormal? I don't know, but it was not there the next morning. But as far as any of the other type of evidence that all these other people have been collecting, got nothing. And that's happened to me several times before, going back to the same location multiple times. It's like after I hit the mother lode on the first 2 or 3 times, then it quits. It's like they say, "Oh, he's back,"
Or it's a spontaneous thing, and you can't say when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. It just spontaneously happens. The conditions are right, and we don't know what the conditions are.
Right. I agree.
Right. Yeah, I go to the Old Park Hotel many times, and I haven't been there yet, but something hasn't happened. It's crazy, but we have a team member, whenever he comes anywhere with us, nothing. We might as well all just sit down and take a nap, because when he's around, nothing. If he leaves, stuff happens. So,
Well, where the Bonnie Parker room is up there, or down at the Old Park. Okay, that's the wall that we were getting all that EMF reading, and I'm talking in the 50s, not 0.5, but we're talking 52, 53, 54, and on the K2 meter, it was almost pegged at the red, and it was only at this one particular wall, and we could not figure out for the life of us what was going on with that. But no other activity, no sounds, no movement, no EVPs, nothing. It was just a quiet night.
I will be back in April. I'll have to try that wall and see what I get.
Yeah, again, it started about 3:30 in the morning. We're going to try to go back in November. He's booked up all the way through, so we're going to try to go back in November and see if things are different.
I'm going back in April, and I'm going to be the first team in to investigate the jail across the street, the Runnels jail.
Oh, lucky you! I envy you. Yeah, first time I saw that, I went, I want to go in there.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, our next question is from Lynn. Do you believe faces of spirits show up in walls and bricks? I know you can see them through mirrors and windows.
Are we talking about photos that people have taken and then they see faces within them? Is that what they're talking about? Because
That's
to me,
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, matrixing and pareidolia, where your brain will look for facial patterns and create something recognizable from whatever the image is that you're looking at. So, I mean, maybe they can, but I'm not sure what they're exactly referring to.
There is a very famous face in a wall down at the UT Health Science Center in Galveston, and you have to get in the right spot to see it. Supposedly the man who owned the property originally, when he passed away in his will, it said, "Do not sell my land to anybody." And once he passed, the family quickly sold the land for the money. UT built on the property, and it's prefabbed walls put up in sections. And there's 3 lines of these sections that are built up. And supposedly his face appeared in the top right corner, or the top right panel. And I'm talking a huge panel, like maybe 10 by 20 feet in height. And they didn't like it, so they sandblasted it. He appeared in the one beneath it. They sandblasted it off. He appeared in the 3rd one. And you can go down there today and you can see this face. Is it him? Don't know. But this face does appear in this wall. As far as mirrors and windows, I do not trust mirrors and windows. Too many smears, too many different types of light refracting through the mirrors and the windows that can make you see things that aren't there. And as I say this, at that nursing home that I told you about earlier, the first time we went through there, one of my investigators who was she could sense things, but she wasn't a full psychic. We were outside and she said, "There's a lady sitting right outside that window looking in. She looks very, very sad that she can't go in." And it was 2 weeks later that my friend down in Moody took a picture of the very same window, not knowing what we had happened to us about the lady looking in. She took a picture of the window, and in the bottom left-hand corner, there is no doubt there is a woman looking in the window. And this is not something that you have to hold it just right, squint your eyes, and get the light just right. She is there. You can see her collar, her eyebrows, her nose, her mouth, her hairstyle. Everything is there in the exact same window where my team member said she was looking in. So sometimes they will appear in the windows and the mirrors, sometimes not.
Okay. And I guess the one question I do have for all of you guys is, do you guys have any, I know we're still on lockdown and it's tight doing stuff, but do you guys have any projects, events, activities, anything happening soon? And we can start with Anne and Renata for that one.
We're off to Tasmania on Sunday week, so that's the little island down at the very bottom of Australia that has a lot of convict history. And when people ask what places are haunted in Australia, we list off the normal ones and then we go the whole of Tasmania. So we have got 4 or 5 nights down there. We're flying down because a lot of our flights within Australia have been locked down to just within the state, so for us to get out of the state is very exciting. But our other project we're working on is the True Hauntings, the podcast, and also we have 2 new YouTube series that will be coming out shortly. Do you want to talk?
We don't have anything coming up right now. The COVID has got some of our members just very, very nervous, and they just don't want to go out. It was all we could do to, it was all I could do to get some of them to go to the Old Park Hotel. So we're just kind of laying back until things calm down a little bit.
I mean, we're so lucky in Australia with the COVID situation that it is quite under control at the moment, but it can flare up at any second. I think we've had one case or 3 days straight without cases or something like that. So we're doing pretty good here.
Yay!
It's because you are behaving responsibly, unlike they do here. Just
I'll wash my hands.
There's such a thing as behaving responsibly.
Linda, do you have any upcoming projects or anything?
Well, the same as Cliff. Like I said, my team will go to the Old Park Hotel in April. We drive there by car. We rent the whole hotel. We're the only ones there. So that's been pretty safe. Oklahoma is pretty high right now. I'm actually on quarantine myself right now because my daughter was exposed at school. So we're kind of leery to do any residential or go too far out because everybody is nervous and they're not ready to do it yet.
I'm wondering from that point of view whether
soon, I hope,
you are finding that there are more reports coming from residential homes with regards to hauntings because people are at home and they are on a high level of alert
Anxiety.
and high emotions, and therefore there may be more reports of hauntings than normal. Do you finding that?
we have had an increase in our normal phone calls, asking for assistance. We usually get 1 or 2, 3 a month, and that's doubled. Whether that has anything to do with it, I don't know. If they seem serious enough, a couple of us will go out, but we haven't done too many just because you don't know who they've been around or anything like that. It's just scary.
Okay. And I know we've talked about earlier, I'm waiting for the question to come up, about your most memorable investigations and stuff like that, but Joe wants to know where or what has been your most unusual investigation?
We did one recently that was unusual. What was it? God, this is really bad. I can't remember. I know we had one that was difficult, but now you speak while I think about.
Oh, out at near Tocal.
No, it wasn't that one. It was something else.
I don't know if
No,
I've
no,
had
your
any
story.
that's unusual because I go to the same places that most everybody else does. I guess the one that was rather unusual is we went to a place that had been a morgue and a funeral home, but it was now a regular office. People were having just regular offices in there, and it was just odd being in a very clean environment, no dust, nothing scary, and having stuff happen. But I mean, I don't know if I've ever been to any place that's really unusual.
My most unusual would have to be a salt mine in Kansas, where we went 2 miles below the Earth's surface, and they actually gave us oxygen tanks to wear, and we spent 8 hours in there. And it is such a controlled environment that one of the places in the salt mines, Hollywood, has all of its film reels and costumes are there in glass cases.
Wow.
There's things like the original paper from the shooting of JFK, Muhammad Ali's gloves and tickets to boxing were there. It was just a treasure trove of memorabilia because down that far, it is a very controlled environment. It's perfect temperature, perfect humidity. So it's a prime place to store that stuff. But that was just one small section. It's actually a working salt mine. And we were allowed in there to investigate for 8 hours. And you went down a regular mine shaft, and we had the hard hat with the light on it. And of course, the oxygen tank, which I didn't need, but just in case, they gave it to us. So that would have to have been my most unusual.
And you got out alive.
Yeah.
I did. The shaft going down was the scariest part of the whole thing. Other than that, it was fine.
I'm curious, Linda, did you use a spirit box at all down there?
We tried, but we could not get anything. I mean, it's so far down and the walls are so thick, we couldn't get anything. It was useless to use, but we did try. We tried. We did get a very good EVP. We got the word Rudy, and we had standing by a train car that they used to take the workers back and forth. And we didn't know what that meant. And our guide took us over to a photograph, and he said, "This is Rudy," and he died. He had a heart attack in that train cart.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
And the cart was taking him to the shaft so they could get him medical attention. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. But we got a very clear Rudy, and we had no idea what that meant until he took us around the back end and showed us a photograph, and the gentleman's name was right there on the plate.
Now, Linda, I've got a question for you. When you say that the spirit box was useless, why are you saying it was useless?
It was like we couldn't get any. It wasn't picking up any channels. It wasn't doing much of anything. We weren't getting anything down there. No reception whatsoever.
Were you still getting white noise?
Very intermittently, like it would be for a little bit and then it would cut out, and it would go for a little bit and then it would cut out. So
Because
I don't really understand what was happening.
This is just my feeling on it. If you've still got the full white noise without any radio interference coming in, that would lead the amateur person to think, hey, this person said hello to me, and it was actually just, a car salesman on that one little channel as it scanned through.
Right.
When there's no radio signal at all, but you're still getting solid white noise, to me, that's the perfect environment for them to respond to.
Yeah, that was about the reason behind my question.
Right. And had we gotten consistent? Go ahead, Philip.
No, that's the reason I asked you, because there would have been no radio interference, no radio bleed. But if you weren't getting consistent white noise for them to use, then yeah, I can understand that.
Then it's useless.
Gotten consistent lines of white noise where we could have used that. It definitely would have been used, but it was cutting in and out. We'd go from like dead silence to a little bit of noise and then dead silence.
That is weird. That is weird.
It was very weird.
A battery issue than it does anything else, because the white noise should be continuous, regardless.
That's what I would have thought.
It should, but we replaced the batteries several times, different batteries from different people, because that was the very first thing we thought of. Is the battery not working? But it was just in and out, cutting in and out constantly. Now, when we got back upstairs, we tried it again. Worked perfect. Worked perfect. It was scanning. We had white noise. We had radio bleeps coming through.
Can I ask you which one it was? Which radio were you using?
It was the SB7.
Okay, just curious.
This was a few years back, so it was the 7. Okay.
But we've remembered our weird, unusual one. Go on,
Okay.
Renata.
We went to Transylvania a few years ago, and we went to Bran Castle. And while everyone else was running around the castle trying to find places to check out and investigate, we went into this one particular area because we didn't have a lot of time left after the tour around the castle and everything, and we decided to do some glass dowsing. And we got connected with an entity within the castle that was trying to tell us a story, but because it was speaking in a language we couldn't communicate with it properly, we actually got the lady who was there that night, who was an archaeologist, to come in and ask whether she would just be part of this experiment to see if she could make a connection. So she got on the glass and started to talk in Romanian, and whoever the entity was, or we worked out who it was actually talking to her in Romanian or answering in Romanian,
and giving her the names, because there was this skeleton that was missing a head, and apparently it was the entity belonging to that skeleton, and she told her the town that she was in, the head was in, and the lady said, this is quite plausible, because that's only a few miles from where we are now. So, I mean, we had no influence over it, because we couldn't understand what she was saying, and it was spelling out these words to her.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Now, when you said glass dowsing, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain? Because I don't think we hear that often.
Okay, it's a form of Victorian seance communication. Just get a glass, turn it upside down, put it on a flat, smooth surface, place your finger on top of it, and ask them to move the glass. So we get them to establish a yes and a no, and then they can spell words out by sliding the glass, like, oh, that's A. We always say use capital letters, uppercase, so we can understand. So they were actually spelling words out to us using this method.
Cool. Like table tipping, another form of communication.
Yeah, that sort of era of communication. Yeah.
Okay. And I know we're going to be wrapping up here soon, but here's another question. Could the image resonating from pareidolia be our brain searching for answers that make sense, to resolve trauma and negative thought patterns, or for life direction? Cliff, do you want to attempt this one first?
I think if you're looking for something hard enough, if there's an image there, you're going to see it. And whether, let's say if you've had a loved one pass away and you're looking for that answer, your mind may actually give you the answer, and what you're seeing may not actually be there, but if it's there enough just to give you peace. I see shapes and faces in just about everything I look at. My mind is just that way, and I try not to let that get into my investigations. It's got to be clear to me, but it is possible that your brain is trying to make sense of whatever it is you're saying.
Okay. Linda, do you have any thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Cliff. I mean, if you want it desperately enough, if you're in a state of grief or something like that, your brain definitely has the capabilities to make something be there that's not,
Okay.
We only use this much of our brains anyway, so when you are trying to find something, you may open up that other part of the brain that you normally don't use, and you're going to start seeing these things.
Okay. Anne and Renata, do you guys have any questions or thoughts on that?
I agree with them.
Okay.
Everything they said.
Simple enough.
Short and sweet.
Okay. And the last question we'll take before we do our closing is, what is the most scariest place you've ever, I'm assuming they mean investigated?
Infested. That would be my own
We've been
home.
some places that have been infested with roaches and fleas and God knows what.
Both ways. Which place have you investigated that's the scariest, and which places are the scariest because they're infested? So we can take
Oh, that can be taken so many different ways.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Anyone have any?
We've been to a few of the mental asylums here in Australia, and they have been, very interesting places. The energy there can be quite dramatic, and it can be very draining on your system sometimes when you sort of aren't aware or don't prepare yourself. And you can walk away feeling very, very lightheaded and not stabilised and not grounded, whether that be about the stories that have been told during or prior to you going there, or whether you are just really engaging with the site and there is still that sense that site has literally taken on years and years and years of mental anguish from people. and you have now taken some of that away with you. I think some of those places for me are the saddest, really, and whether it's scary, it's just sometimes awfully, awfully sad, and you walk away just not feeling,
I think
not
it's a more
feeling
an
very
empathy
well
thing
at
than
all.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, it's any of the old jails that I've been into. When you think of some of the people that have been in these jails, the murderers and stuff like that, if they are still there, do they have the capability of hurting me in any way, shape, fashion, or form? Again, at the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, they have a room that they call the scratch room, where upwards of 100 people have been scratched or poked, and you can see marks on their arms and stuff. I've been in that house a lot. I've never had anything happen to me like that. But you go into these places where bad people were kept and caged like animals, then their anger could breach over and possibly do something to me. Never had it happen. I'm not going to say it won't. I'm not going to say it can't. But I get really nervous in old jails or where really bad things like that happen.
I would have to say, to piggyback off what Anna Renata was saying, it wasn't so much the scariest, but when we spent the night in the Villisca axe murder house, I was
Wow.
so drained when we were finished with that. And I mean, not a whole lot. We thought not a whole lot happened. In review, we were very surprised. We had 27 Class A EVPs in over an hour and a half. But we at the time didn't think anything was happening. But knowing the history, knowing the story that so many young children were brutally murdered there, I was just overcome. And this doesn't, I mean, I'm not empathic at all, I'm not psychic at all, but I was overcome with sadness. I couldn't focus on the investigation. Every room I went into, I was thinking, did they hear the others being killed? Were they lying in wait? It just completely consumed me. And for that reason, I want to go back, because it affected me in such a way the first time. I wasn't prepared for that. So it wasn't the scariest, but definitely the most draining. I mean, emotionally, it really took me out of the loop for a good week or so.
Okay, well, we are running out of time, so I'm going to make a quick announcement before we close out for the night. We have been nominated for Best Podcast for the Paranormal Awards. I can't even talk anymore. The link is on the stream below, and also we are going to post the link on our page if you guys want to find the link and go vote for us. All the details are there. And our next presentation is going to be on March 17th. We have a guest presenter. I believe it's Brandon. Philip, you helped me set that one up.
Yeah, Brandon Masulo. And if you haven't gotten his book yet, get it. The Ghost Studies, it will make your brain explode. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. I have a paranormal crush on his brain because of what I read in this book. It's just, I can't wait for him to come on. But he's going to be doing a presentation that he does at Paracons called The Science of the Paranormal, I believe. So that's going to be fantastic. And definitely this is the CDs, but it comes in a book. But I play the CDs in my car. Yeah, I'm a little nerd. But that's going to be great.
You still have CDs.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone again for joining us. And we're going to close out by having all the educators kind of let you guys know where to find them. So you can find them on social media and any upcoming, I know we talked about upcoming events, but if you have any links associated with any events you're hosting, please feel free to share those as well. And let's start with Ann and Renata.
Well, you can too nominate for us on the Paranormal Awards. We've been nominated in 4 categories, God forbid. And no, we did not set up those awards. You can find us True Hauntings Podcast, Anne and Renata Frightfully Good on Facebook, Anne and Renata on Instagram. What else have we got? YouTube, Anne and Renata. Just type in Anne and Renata and you'll find us somewhere.
Okay, Cliff, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you and your team?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel. There are several groups called Ghost Stalkers out there. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. No. Oh, it changed. All right, let me. It's Ghost Stalkers, one word. GHOSTALKERS. It looks like a little guy holding a lantern looking for a ghost. A lot of the videos that I mentioned tonight are on the YouTube channel. There are some that I can't put on that channel because I was a member of another team and it was all under their name. But that's where you'll find most of our evidence that we found.
And you can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page called Pit Crew of Oklahoma. And because of the name, we have a hearse, and the ghosts are working like a pit crew on the hearse. That's our little logo. We post all of our videos, live streams, some of our EVPs on there, the ones that were allowed, and also information there on how to contact us if you need a residential investigation. So look for us on Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our panel. And thank you, everyone out there watching. You can find the replay of this on our Facebook page at Ghost Education 101, or we will also be sharing it to our YouTube channel, which you can also search for as Ghost Education 101. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget to join us on March 17th.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining. See you.
Bye.
Bye.